Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will go over the ability to add a signature box on your custom intake form. By doing this, your clients can now sign their intake forms before submitting them. Let us log into the caseworker portal. Let us go to the admin tools by clicking on the settings button on the top right and proceeding to click on administrative tools. From the admin tools, go to the custom form templates. Adding a signature box can be added to a pre-existing intake you may have already created or a brand new one you're about to create. Should you want to create a new one, select Add Custom Intake Form and proceed to select for which type of client you would like to create an intake form. For our example, we will take an already created intake form. Should you need help with how to create an intake form, on the description of this video is a link taking you to that video. To the left of our custom intake form is a Select button. If we hover over it, we will see an Edit button. Click on it. We are now inside the custom intake form. On the available options to the left, you will see a signature option. Click on it. You have now added a signature box to this intake form and can move its position inside the intake form. Should you want to see how the signature box looks, click on the preview button to see how your clients will see it. If you want to add other things like a disclaimer and a date of the signature, you can select things like text question on the left and label it date of signature. Proceed to select the type as date and choose its positioning in the intake form in relation to the signature box. If you want to add a disclaimer, you can go to the layout section on the left and select description. Proceed to enter your disclaimer and choose its positioning. Lastly, should you want to add things such as a header or even add a line break, proceed to the layout section to the left and select horizontal line and header. For the header, apply the header you would like and change its positioning to both. A helpful tip: the signature block should be the last question asked on your intake form. The reason for this is any information changed after the client signs the intake form would invalidate the signature and appear as such when they submit the intake form back to you. By making it the last question, it would guarantee that the client signing the intake form is the last thing they do before submitting it back to you. Once adding all these things, click on the preview one more time to see how it looks. Should any changes need to be made, proceed with making those changes and come back to click on the preview button. Once adding your questions, your signature boxes, and layout options, you will want to finalize this intake form by going to the Mappings and Translations area of the intake form. For mappings, apart from being able to map these things to a section of the client profile, one thing you can do is make the signature fields a required field by clicking on the required checkbox. By doing so, a user must sign before submitting this back to you. For translations, should you want to translate this to another language, click on the Enabled box and you will see the available languages. Using our AI translator tool, proceed with selecting the language, reviewing it, and once finished, click on Save. Your intake form has been saved and can now be sent to a client via the caseworker portal. On the video's description is another link on how to send these intake forms to your client to fill out either via the client portal or via a passwordless link. When a client submits those intake forms back to you, you will see that a signature was added to the intake form and other answers you required from them. One last thing. If you attempt to edit the custom intake form while clients have the intake form in their possession, the system will alert you of this and not allow you to make edits on the custom intake form. You may go back to the caseworker portal to accept or delete those intake forms until no copy is in your client's possession, or you can make a copy of the intake form and edit the copied version. This concludes our video on adding a signature block to your intake form.